Pop Culture Pastor.
So Cody, it was nice yesterday, which we usually don't get that kind of a day in Kansas in August, where it was below 80 degrees for part of the day.
It was delightful.
It was cool in the shade, which never happens in Kansas in the summer.
The skies were not cloudy all day.
And I actually found time to just be outside and sit in a chair,
I thought about mowing, but the grass was way too wet.
And the weather was way too nice. You don't waste a day like that to mow.
Exactly.
You got to mow when it's 105 degrees, everything sticking to you, all the little grasslets flying through the air. Why is mowing the worst experience possible?
So for me, I guess the part of mowing that really is the worst, because I now have a riding lawnmower and it's delightful, is weed eating. I hate weed eating.
Yeah, I just don't do it.
Let's just spray this whole patch along the curb and along the house with chemicals that are not good for anyone or anything, but it will never grow again.
Yeah, but then you're a nonconformist, because that's what yards are. We've talked about this on the show. About how yard care was all this made up thing that the Scott's company made up back in the 1900s, whenever, and that's the only reason we do this. It's like Hallmark and birthdays.
Yes,
it's crazy, and I don't think we should have to weed eat if we don't want to.
But we should birthday all the time, because that comes with cake.
Yeah. You mean when you say birthday all the time, you mean just have our birthday every day?
Our birthday, someone's birthday. I'm okay with creating a calendar where everyone's birthday's listed out, like famous people's, and then I could be like, oh, today's John Travolta's birthday. JT cake.
What kind of cake would John Travolta like, do you think? Saturday Night Fudge?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Angel food cake.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. All right. Face-off cake. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it could be a cake.
That sounds a little intense for a birthday party.
Good afternoon. Welcome. This is Pop Culture Pastor. Thank you for joining us, and stick around. All right, Cody, I'm about to make all my church people uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable right now.
Just the thought that I told you were going to be uncomfortable made you uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't like being uncomfortable, but I just had to talk about this because it's weird. And I like talking about weird things. I like trying to work through it and try to see where people are coming from. Because when I say the term fortune tellers, even though it's not your thing, you understand there's people out in the world who think that that's a thing. You understand that.
Well, trust me. I grew up in the generation of Miss Cleo.
Right. And it was so big back then, the Psychic Friends Network. And we've talked all about Miss Cleo before on our podcast.
My friend that I keep at a distance, Dionne Warwick, was all about the psychics.
Your friend Dionne. But you can see these places still in towns where they'll have just randomly, especially in bigger cities, they'll just randomly have a place that has a neon sign that says fortune teller. Get your fortunes told here. So it's clearly something that humans, there's a need, not a need for it. That's not the right word.
There's a want.
There's a demand, which means there's probably going to be a supply. Because we live in a capitalistic environment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even when I drive to Joplin, at one of the major intersections next to a big church, there's this sign that says tarot card reading.
Yeah. So it comes in many forms.
It does.
Some people are into cards. Some people are into crystal balls. Some people are into
The
palms
lines in your hand.
Yeah, your palms being read. All of it. There's a bunch of weird stuff out there. And I guess when you realize that there's people out there that think they're experts at it, I don't even know how to do that. What's clear is there's a demand that humans want to know what their future is, what their future prospects are, what good can I have in the future. There's a human need, it seems like, where we want to know what's going on in the world and how that's going to affect our future. And I would say to them, yeah, that's a very real thing that humans have. I would agree with that. Humans have a desire for that.
Where I always go to, because I was raised in the good old US of A. Like, if you are really a psychic, why haven't you won the Powerball now that it's up to it was up to $1.5 billion?
Because if you're really a psychic, you know what happens to the people that win the Powerball. They're not happy.
Well, then tell me the numbers.
You wouldn't be happy either, Cody. You wouldn't be happy either.
We would be going to San Diego Comic-Con, friend.
But then you're like, well, then if money won't make you happy, why are you charging me for this palm reading?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
it all leads back to the green.
Cody has cracked the code of capitalism. Everything's done out of greed. Congrats, Cody.
Thank you.
I think someone probably already came to that conclusion, but you cracked the nut. You cracked this case wide open.
Mark it on your calendars that August 15th.
Psychics are ridiculous because they're just trying to make money.
Cody solved it.
You might be wondering, well, Dave, if you got it all figured out, why are we talking about this on a Christian radio station?
That's the question.
Because it involves cheese. That's why. And I will explain right after this. All right, welcome back. So we kind of went through this thing that, humans have this desire and need to know what's the secrets of the world, what the meaning of life is, and all of this, and what our futures are. How can we be fulfilled in this life? Which all leads us to all sorts of things. Some of us, it leads to God, which is, I think, what it's supposed to do, what it's meant to do. But for some people, it leads them to people like Miss Cleo, the Psychic Friends Network, fortune tellers, tarot card readers. That all comes from this one human need that I think is a thing that humans need. We have a desire for that information, and it's put there for a purpose, but because humanity, it leads us to all these other things. Well, in a capitalist environment, you're going to have people out there who try to meet that need themselves and make a little money from it.
Word.
Which we explained, all the ways that are out there. The way you didn't know was out there. This was a shock to me too.
Ooh.
It's something called tyromancy.
What?
It has that mancy on the end, and it makes you think, oh, we should not be talking about this as church folk.
No.
That makes me nervous. It is the ancient practice of fortune telling through the observation of cheese. Like, wait, what? What is my connection to this cheese?
Is there specific brands to avoid?
What if it's not really cheese? What if it's Velveeta? That's probably where my fortune lies. You'd have to use a block of Velveeta. Apparently, this is going through a renaissance. Is it really, though? Is it really? Jennifer Billick in Chicago.
Oh, this is stateside.
Lovingly referred to as the kitchen witch. I thought that was a sandwich at first, the kitchen witch. That's where you just get a couple pieces of bread, you take whatever you're in your refrigerator, and you put it in the bread, and you just basically whatever you got. And you're like, what are you eating? I was like, it's a kitchen witch. It's what I just had to eat. It's a sandwich. No,
I really
that's not what
think
they mean.
that would be a great restaurant name.
It would, wouldn't
And you
it?
don't know what sandwich you're going to get. It's just whatever is there.
It would be a restaurant that I would secretly go to, but wouldn't want any of my Christian friends to know because it's probably really good food. But you know, it's got some problematic things. Jennifer Billick says there's more to cheese than meets the eye.
You betcha. There's a lot of mold.
Every piece of cheese tells a story. Does it though?
If-
I think she's reading a little too much into this.
Or putting a really strong emphasis on like the tastiness of cheese.
I mean, cheese is tasty.
But like when you become too obsessed with cheese, you might have an issue. Which, I mean, as someone that watched Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie, I know that you can become addicted to cheese. And it can lead to a life of hardships and maybe even you getting kidnapped.
I mean, like, that is so obscure. You're only going to get that joke if you've watched Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Like,
yeah.
that
Monterey
is-
Jack.
But, like, honestly, what's the difference between this lady who puts an overimportance on cheese and us who probably put an overimportance on pop culture? Just because it's what we like. Now, granted, she's, I'm guessing, not of the same faith structure we are.
Otherwise, she needs to read like 1st or 2nd Samuel. One of those books.
Yeah. So she's 40 years old. She's a freelance journalist and author and is now offering workshops and private sessions for individuals, groups, and even corporate clients on how to use cheese for divination. I just can't believe this is a thing. Like, okay, I'm okay with understanding there's a person in the world who believes and does this. What I don't understand is who's calling up for that conference? Who's saying, you know what? Who's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company is like, we need this lady to tell us how to read cheese. Where is that happening? Where's that happening? But people are partnering with her.
Sweet.
She recently partnered with Juve Kitchen in that town she's in, wherever she's at.
Chicago.
In Chicago for a sold-out class that paired wine tasting with a lesson in history and guidance on how to identify insights in cheese.
So I know people that claim they've had great insights under the influence of wine, but
I have an insight every time I eat cheese. Do you know what that insight is? That's good cheese. So, Jennifer Billick, who is a cheese reader. I mean, that's literally what she does.
I do remember from Monty Python, blessed are the cheese makers.
Well, that's just truth. Thank you, cheese makers of the world, for keeping us in our cheese.
I don't think he meant just cheese makers. I think he meant all dairy personnel.
I mean, I honestly just love cheese.
It's good.
I'm a fan.
I really love white cheddar Cheez-Its.
I'm just... Do you think there's someone out there that'll tell you your fortune by reading your Cheez-Its?
That is too tempting, my friend.
Okay, so she says that she can tell from the number, placement, and depth of holes to the appearance of its cracks, craters, and veins. Each piece of cheese has its own unique way of revealing something about your life. Now, wait a minute. How do the holes and the cracks in the cheese tell you anything about me? How is it connected to me?
Like, literally, that block of cheese or wheel of cheese is going to have the same cracks and craters no matter who comes to you.
She says, mold, patterns, size, and shape are all clues to a person's potential destiny.
I told you it was all about the mold.
Again, what does the cheese have to do with me? I don't understand the connection I have with this cheese that tells her so much about me.
I want to know if I go, I think it's in Scotland, that they chase the big wheel of cheese down the hill.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Like if I catch the cheese and win that race,
You wouldn't.
But if I did,
No, those people are nuts, dude.
but if I did, is that cheese predestined to me? And then will it tell this lady what is in my future?
It would tell you that you're an idiot. Because people get seriously hurt in that thing every year.
Exactly.
They like blow out knees. They fall and hit their head. Some people like do like somersaults all the way down the hill. Like that's crazy.
That's the only way to get the cheese.
That's crazy. And I've only watched videos of it a few hundred times.
Only a few.
She says, she goes on to say, this cheese reader, a lot of people have these big spiritual questions. Why am I doing this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a big question. If you're procuring the skills of a cheese fortune teller, why am I doing this should be the first question that pops into your head.
Always.
She says, why am I doing this? Who am I? What should I be doing? Where am I going? Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're on the same page here. She is playing on a basic human fundamental thing that we have these moments in our brokenness of like, hey, I'm having these thoughts of I need to know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like we have that. And she just, goes through cheese. She says, quote, I think especially now after COVID, everybody's reevaluating their lives. And I think it's a fun way to get a deeper insight into your life on a different level. Well, I could see the fun part. Like, it's definitely fun. We've had fun talking about it.
You betcha.
You sounded like someone who makes cheese. You betcha. You want some cheese? We got some right here in the back. Welcome to Fargo.
Exactly. Now, in my mind, yeah, after COVID, everyone should be reevaluating their life, what's meaningful, what's purposeful, being mindful of who they are, what they're about. I don't know if cheese is the answer.
Well, then you're not from the 2nd century because this dates back to ancient Greece and Rome. This craft came into prevalence in the Middle Ages when cheese magic was often used to sniff out a criminal from a lineup. So what you're saying is we put to death many innocent people based on cheese.
I thought cheese magic was what Kraft or Velveeta was doing.
Folklore in Scotland states that dreaming of cheesecake is bad. Uh-oh.
I never dream of cheesecake, so we're good.
In 14th century Germany, those looking to become pregnant believed they could enhance fertility by throwing a piece of cheese over their shoulders. That sounds totally reasonable.
That makes no sense at all.
And today, themes of tyromancy can be seen in the video game The Witcher, where cheese is used for fortune telling in the form of fondue. That's an actually big popular video game and TV show on Netflix starring Henry Cavill.
As someone that does enjoy a good fondue sesh, I don't use it to tell the future.
Yeah. This is fun to talk about. And I love cheese. And like this lady, she seems like a nice person. She seems like she's into it. And she used the word fun. She said it was a fun way. So I think she maybe gets it. As long as you're not taking it too seriously, I think you can have fun with these sorts of things and understand it's not really your fortune. You're not really understanding anything about your future. But I think some people, they just take it a little too far. Like I knew people that were hooked on calling the Psychic Friends Network back in the 90s.
If Miss Cleo can tell me what the lottery numbers were, I don't believe it.
Yeah. There's really only one place that I've found in my life where I can find tips on what's to come.
Where's that?
It's the Bible.
Oh, snap.
And by the way, I can't prove to you it's true.
Cannot.
That's not the point. The point is faith. And like, look, this story is a good way to say like, hey, you're probably putting faith in something. Faith is not the problem.
Yeah.
Faith is not the problem at all. It's just where are we going to put our faith? That's the question.
I keep seeing this reels on Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like he was asked about religion and organized faiths. And he's like, well, I put my faith in science. And he used the word faith.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, We all put our faith and trust in something.
Well-
what is it that you are putting it into? Is it worthwhile? And does Neil deGrasse Tyson understand free will?
Yeah.
That was another question.
Look,
I had
that only makes me feel good because I know I'm smarter than Neil deGrasse Tyson. Because why would you put your faith in science when cheese is just out there?
out there.
It's just out there, waiting for you to put your faith in it. You're gonna get the same return from that, I believe. So Cody, there's a new trend out there, and it's coming from the mental health industry.
What?
Yeah, it's right up your alley. You've heard of triggers.
Oh, I know some triggers.
Yeah. Everybody, so like that's been like a key word in our last 10 years of our culture is triggers. I'm triggered. You're triggered. We got to pay attention to our triggers. We don't want to trigger each other.
Get out the middle of the aisle at Walmart. One side or the other.
You've had your blinker on since 1984. Turn it off. Yeah. Those
Triggers.
things. Triggers. Right. Yeah. So we talk a lot about triggers. Well, apparently mental health experts and advocates recently are posting about glimmers. Have you heard of glimmers?
This sounds interesting.
Simply put, glimmers are small moments that bring you joy. They're like the opposite of a trigger.
So I assumed that's what it was. I guess it's a glimmer of sunshine, of hope.
Yeah. There's videos and stuff on social media. There's people posting about glimmers, kids collecting flowers in the field, folks sipping a quiet cup of tea on their porch, or having a swim at the other local lake. You know, peaceful moments.
Those
things
are
like that.
lame.
Gosh, calm down. I'll give you a chance. Man, like this is leading to the part where what you would consider a glimmer. Everything's subjective, Cody.
Those are lame. Quit drinking your brown water, people.
Cody has been triggered by your glimmers. What happens when we're triggered by the glimmers of others? That is real. But by the way, that's probably a constructive question in where this is all heading.
For reals.
I digress. So glimmers were coined by Deb Dana, a Maine-based licensed clinical social worker whose work...
Hey, I'm a social worker.
Yes. Whose work centers on complex trauma. And it's apparently the big thing now on social media is people are posting their glimmers. And she says glimmers are micro moments of safety, connection, and regulation. So
nice.
I just wanted to tell you that before we move on and talk about what might be a glimmer to you, Cody. So I'll let you think about it for a little while.
Picking daisies.
No, it's not. So before we went back to the music, you said picking daisies.
Yeah.
Would be your glimmer. And like, no. He was kidding.
He was.
Because that doesn't sound like a glimmer because that sounds like there's some physical work there. That's definitely a trigger for me.
Not about that lifestyle.
Hey, would you take the garbage out? I'm triggered. Absolutely triggered. No. All right. I'll do it. Let me martyr myself. Jesus said, pick up your trash bag and walk. My kids do that all the time.
Literally, there's been moments that I've told Leah, I can't do it all. And she's like, I'm only asking you to take out the trash. And I'm like, this is on top of what I already do.
Picture it. Cody trudging out his front door, back door.
Back door.
Trudging out his back door. Men standing idly by. Dead man walking. Dead man walking. Sad violin music being played. Why? Why are we so like this? Because it's not a glimmer. It's a trigger.
It is. Thinking about the glimmers instead of the triggers.
Let me help you out.
Okay.
So the lady that created this says they're tiny moments of joy, the moments of okayness, that's in quotation marks, that take us away from being stuck in this challenging world we're in or our own trauma that's sitting unprocessed. And it helps build the capacity to then manage these other things in a different way. So that's a glimmer. from the person who coined the term.
So I think there's some glimmers that are more helpful than others.
Yeah.
Because some glimmers will lead probably to more of escapism and like dissociating.
Yeah. So she mentions this specifically. She says it shouldn't be mixed with toxic positivity. She stresses that society often only looks at the silver lining, which is not the point of glimmers. Glimmers are not here to mute the hard days, but are instead here to make the hard days more manageable. So yeah, she's
aware.
She's covering that. She's with you on that. Like you're not doing this to ignore the hardness.
Like initially, something that like brings a little brief moment of joy to my life might be like watching a dog video.
Yeah.
But I know several people that they're not just watching one dog video, and then they're going down the rabbit hole of TikTok or Reels or whatever, and like 2 hours later, you ask them, so you never told me what you wanted for dinner. And so
this sounds like a personal story.
It's not necessarily.
Speaking of, we all have an affinity for animal videos. Like it's been a joke that people like watching cat videos on YouTube.
I don't.
There's a lot, but you understand there's a large portion of people that do.
That's so weird.
It's a different animal for everyone, but it just so happens that a lot of people are cat people.
If it's a big cat, sure. Like,
No.
I want to see a tiger or a lion do something silly.
It's usually kittens doing cute things with their paws.
Cats just seem so mean.
What are dog videos? Like you said, dog videos. What's your favorite dog video look like? Like, what are they doing? What's so good about it?
So there's this one that pops up on my reels a lot. It's Good Boy Ollie.
Oh.
And so he has this jar, and he picks a piece of paper out of it with his mouth, and then he limbs it. And then his owner picks it up and holds it from the camera, and then they have the automated voice that's supposed to be Ollie, and it's like, oh, yippee, I get to go feed the ducks. And then he goes and feeds ducks.
That's amazing. Ollie is a good boy.
He is.
So I believe that everyone's got a certain type of animal that they could get lost in watching videos of. Mine is not cats or dogs, though.
Penguins.
That'd be a good guess. I probably could get lost in some penguin videos, but no, that's not what I was thinking of. I got lost in this the other day because a video of a baby goat just happened to show up on my feed. And it was like this baby goat, and it was standing with this other baby goat on like a little table, like a little coffee table elevated thing. And the one baby goat goes over and does that hoppy thing that they do and kicks the other goat off the table. And then it hops around all excited. And I was just like, I could just watch this all day. I could just watch these baby goats kicking each other off of tables. It was delightful. And I have to think that was a glimmer. That was a glimmer. It gave me joy.
Yeah, for me, I can see that glimmer quickly leading to dissociation and like you just being a very unproductive person for a significant amount of time, where the brief aspect of the glimmer is something. Yeah. And so I definitely have glimmers that happen out in the real world.
Okay.
But we'll get to those later.
Yeah. Let's talk about what our glimmers are when we come back. So, Cody, the glimmers are the opposite of triggers. So if my triggers are other people and if my triggers are red lights, rainy days, and other people, I'm just kidding. I'm not triggered by other people.
Not all the time.
Not all the time. But the glimmers would be the opposite. Glimmers would be something that, so if a trigger takes me out of a normally neutral state or a normally content state and immediately riles me up, makes me agitated, then a glimmer would be the opposite. It would take you out of maybe your normally content state or your neutral state and give you some this sense of this moment of joy. Right? So, Cody, what are your glimmers?
Oh, I came up with a few. off the top of my head pretty quickly. Like, so there's two things with my wife. If she's genuinely happy, she has like the most beautiful smile, and that takes me out of like a negative mood.
Oh, that is sweet.
It is. And then like she also has a very contagious laugh that if something hits her funny bone just right, that she'll just start laughing, and then it becomes kind of funny. And so laughing is a good way to get out of a stuck position and mindset. Also, like my dog does silly things. So I like dogs in real life, not just on videos. But then the last thing that came to my mind very quickly was like, if my song comes on, like it doesn't have to be just one particular song. It's just like they're playing Aha. What? Let's do this.
Yeah, if I'm thinking about what my glimmers are, one that I think of immediately is a cool breeze on a warm day. Like when that breeze hits you and it's refreshing and cool, and the way it like hits your face and you kind of turn into it, man. You got to turn into it. Like when that breeze
Like
starts.
Fabio.
Like, yeah. Like you got the hair flowing like Fabio. It'd just be like you're doing a commercial for something. But man, there's something about that. There's something about a cool breeze on a warm day. You said music. That was something, any 80s song that comes back. That is nostalgic for me. I mean, from the opening notes of it, like Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. Bow, bow. Hey, hey. You know, as soon as that starts, man, it just makes me feel good. Because it like instantly takes me back somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So a good 80s song will do that for me because it reminds me of being a kid. And that's like, it's weird how most of my glimmers are like, they take me back somewhere.
So a glimmer that I completely forgot about, and it's one I shouldn't have, because like when I spent a week at Fort Hays State, there was this rotation thing that we did for self-care. And one glimmer that they highlighted was a lot of leading experts now say smells.
Oh, yeah.
Are
chocolate chip cookies.
Great to get you out of like a more depressed state of mind, or like if you're really triggered. For me, it might be lemon, but I don't want like cleaning lemon.
Now that'll trigger you.
Like, oh, I don't want to have to mop. Don't make me do it.
So Deb Dana goes on to say about glimmers. She says, glimmers are a reminder that our nervous system is so amazingly able to hold all of our trauma and to notice the micro moments of joy, of safety, of connection, of whatever the flavors we want to talk about. And I think she's like observing something that's really cool about humanity in this, that we're simultaneously broken and yet simultaneously able to feel moments of joy, moments of euphoria, moments of being unbroken, what it must feel like to be unbroken, right? And so like the fact that she observes this, and we're pastors, so this is the kind of thing that science does, and sometimes that science is about us, which is what she's talking about here. It makes me lean forward in my chair a little bit and like, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's amazing to observe at the same time that we're broken and that we have moments and feelings of what it must be like to be unbroken.
So I attended a workshop that they talked about laughing and how laughing, like all the endorphins it releases, all the good feelings it creates. But they also highlighted that like there's different types of laughing that will like trigger different feelings and get you into different moods. But they even highlighted that like fake laughing for a couple minutes will actually release, your body will start to release those endorphins because it can't tell the difference.
Wow. Yeah.
But if you are around people that laugh, if you're around people that are joyful, if you are taking in moments of joy and it's like a giddy laughter, you're going to be doing good.
Let me give some people some hope here to end this, because I'm going to use logic here. I'm going to springboard from the science and I'm going to use logic to pull this back to a human place. So the creator of this term, glimmers, which is the opposite of triggers, she put this in a way that said, hey, it's like amidst our brokenness, you can feel these moments of perfection, of joy. And my conclusion to this for you, dear listener, if you need some hope today, is that if you're broken, but you still feel this thing working sometimes, it's like if you have a toy and it works sometimes, that means it's not broken beyond repair. It still works, which means there's hope. There's hope for a complete fixing. There's hope that the little moments of joy can be big moments of joy, and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what I'm getting at is, yes, although we're broken, this proves that there's unbrokenness out there that we can access. And that maybe we'll be able to access even more. Not trying to influence you in any direction, just in case you're not a believer. But maybe I am. Maybe I'm saying, hey, there's more out there. You're feeling some glimmers. That's great. What if there was more? Hey everybody, Dave here. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, which is sort of our odds and ends left over from our radio show. If you want to listen to our radio show, you can tune in to KFEX. That's website is kfex931.com. We would appreciate that, and so would they. We are on every day, weekday, noon to 4, so check us out there. Also, as always, please subscribe to the podcast if you're not already. Give us a 5-star review if you're on a listening platform that allows that, and leave us a review too. Write something nice about us. Share our posts. Follow our posts on social media so you can share our posts with your friends. Tell them why you love to listen to the Pop Culture Pastor podcast. That helps us out. We want all this to happen because we want to grow the community. We go out to comic conventions so we can be around you guys and keep growing the community. And that's what we want, man. We're all about the love. And let's get out there and let's love on each other and let's have community and let's look to the culture like something different. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back.